Hello everyone. My goodness, it has been so long since I sat down to do a video. I don't remember at all when was the last time I sat down, but I really have been wanting to film a flip through of my 2023 Hobonichi Weeks. I kind of feel like the window for flip throughs closed a while ago. Like it's always either December or January and you're doing a flip through, and December and January came and went for me, and I was just way too busy. I cannot sit down and do a flip through. And on top of that, there's always construction going on across from my apartment. Don't even get me started on that because I have come to passionately hate construction. I mean, I really have come to hate it with a passion. Me and my husband are waiting to celebrate the day that our lease is up and we can move out of here because the construction right across from us has been a freaking nightmare ever since we moved in. But all that aside, let's get to the flip through, and I want to show you guys how I used it last year. It was my first year in a Hobonichi Weeks. And I'll be doing a separate video on my 2024 Hobonichi Weeks because that's my baby this year. And I'm so happy, like I have a much better handle on things. This year, as opposed to last year when I first started, I just randomly got this off of Amazon because I saw someone mention it in YouTube, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was wanting to downsize my planner, and I just went ahead and I bought it, but I literally had no idea about the Hobonichi community. I'd never heard about anything about them. This was my first time where I just like grabbed it off of Amazon and just started experimenting and figuring out the paper. The paper, right? So let's start here. So here I was coming over from a very large planner, like a 7x9 planner. And I was very used to using a lot of washi and stickers and all the things. And I quickly realized in this planner how a little bit fills up a lot of space, right? So I did that with this, and I liked it, but I was like, it looks really cluttered. Like I wasn't used to my planner looking so cluttered in the front. And I think that was just me trying to figure out the size and the space and everything. But yeah, this is how it turned out. And then this is what this page was. I just put down some washi tape and some stickers, and then I kind of realized that I wasn't a fan of how the cream paper looked with like the white backing, so I don't use many stickers that are like this in this planner. This page, I set it up and I never looked at it again because guys, I'm blind, and these little numbers just don't do it for me. If you hear some walking around and shuffling around, that is my dog. He is right here next to me. That's my baby. So yeah, I set this paper up, this page up, but I never used it. I never used this at all. And then this page, the yearly tracker, I really used it, and I loved how I used it, and I ended up doing the same thing with this planner. It started off as I started this in December of 2022, and it started off as a exercise tracker, but I had those same trackers in my weeklies, and I am a weekly planner. I am like this as a habit tracker. It's not gonna work for me. It's not gonna work. I don't do well with yearly habit trackers. I never even bother drawing them in because I don't do well with a year-long tracker. For me, I just go, he's really sniffing the air for some reason. And now he's crying, right? But I really don't do well with year-long trackers. So I just settled for instead using this as a, okay. All right, there he goes. For a tracker that can, this is turning out to be a little chaotic with my dog right here. It's like he's looking at me and it's not, oh my God. Okay. let's try this again. It turned into a place where I can just keep track of things that I want to reference, but I don't necessarily need all the information, right? So for example, like my ring cleanings, I had a different color for me, my husband, and for both of us. I kept track of whenever we went on vacation, whenever I took Jasper to the vet, if I called out, or if I had a day off, if I called out sick, like just things like if I called out sick, I want to know how many days am I calling out sick. If I go to the doctor, I want to know when I went to the doctor, right? But if I am interested in getting more information about that, then I know I just need to go to August 2nd, and I can find the exact information about why I went to the doctor, right? But just like a snap view of my year, like I even wrote down whenever I did oil changes, if I changed my car tires, like all those things, I want to have a place for them, but I don't necessarily want to flip through all my weeklies to get that information. Well, this is where it lives. And it was very useful for me. December, not much here because I was double planning. I was still finishing out my other planner and I was just experimenting with this one. January, I was in it. And then, yeah, I just use my monthlies for work, for birthdays, basically anything. My monthlies are a holding cell for me. Basically, I use them to hold information, and then right before the month begins, let's say the last week of the year of the month prior, I will just go ahead and set up everything. And once March begins, or once the month begins, I don't ever reference it again. So yeah, this was June. July, we were apartment searching for July. I got married in September of last year. So yeah, this was August. And I definitely, the more the year progressed, I got more minimal with deco. Oh, now my heater's turned on. That's wonderful. Right. So yeah, you'll see I got more minimal with deco as the year progressed. September, we went to Greece. It was wonderful. And then this is October, November, December. I had moved into my new Hobonichi Weeks for December, so not much is going to be in here in December. And I actually repurposed the weekly pages as extra notes pages. And then January didn't have anything written down here. February, and then anything beyond March of 2024, I wrote it down here so I could just transfer it whenever that time came. All right, so this was me figuring out what the heck, figuring out how to use my spacing. I did a bunch of separate habit trackers, hated it. I was like, what is up with this paper? I have so much correction tape in these first pages, it's crazy. But I definitely got into a groove once this page was not in a groove whatsoever. I was still trying to figure out what the heck to do with this page. But here I ended up with my habit tracker in the top, to-dos / priorities in the middle, and then a journaling section in the bottom. This has not changed. Once this got figured out, it clicked in my brain. This is how I still use it. You can tell here it's much neater because I figured out how to use the paper better. I figured out the pen saga and everything. But yeah, so that was just me trying to figure this out. Now this had not been figured out yet. And I feel like I kind of started getting it. Towards the end of December, which is why it was so good for me, because I was still technically in my other planner, but I just took the month of December to double plan, right? And I would use the information of my other planner to try to figure this one out. And by the time January came around, I kind of had a groove with it. And I was able to, I was wasting a lot of space with stickers because I was so used to overdoing it with stickers in my other planner. And I didn't know how to balance deco with functionality, so to speak. So every single time a month began, I would separate it with a vellum tip-in, just to separate it because I was used to tabs. But I didn't do that this year because I noticed it never really mattered. I end up using the pages, these numbers in the side. So I never use the tip-in vellums as a way to find anything, right? So that was that. And yeah, all of my planner is decorated with sterling ink. The icons are from Sweet Freckle Designs. And I fell in love with this planner. Guys. I really did. My dog's not cooperating. And then I have the sterling ink subscription box. So whenever a new month would start, I would just use the subscription box for that month. It was very easy. I've always liked to use subscription boxes because I used to have like weekly kits for everything, but it was just annoying because I would get them from different shops and I never knew if they were going to arrive on time or whatever. So I remember last year I switched to simply gilded subscription box. Obviously for this planner that's not the best option because you get a lot of washi tape with simply gilded, and that washi tape just isn't my vibe with this planner. But yeah, I have loved this planner. I think it's crazy to see like how sparse this looks compared to my one of this year. You can tell I was like, you know, I wasn't married and I was just kind of just living life. Not you know, I was living with my mom, you know, not much going on. She used to cook dinner. I didn't have to plan for dinner. Now I feel like my life is so busy. It has changed a lot. I love it, but it is overwhelming sometimes how much life has changed ever since I got married. And then again, March, a different theme begins. Literally everything stays the same. There's no rhyme or reason to what goes on either side. I think for this planner, it was workouts here, tasks here, priorities over here, habit tracker, journaling, kind of like an end of the week journaling section. And then in the weekends, I wouldn't put the double lines because I just use them to journal a little bit. And even I always write these lines in with pencil because even if there's a day where I don't have a lot going on, I'll just erase the pencil marks and journal across. So yeah, and that's it. I mean, it doesn't change. It really doesn't change. Oh, it changed here. I forgot I had done this. It changed here and I hated it. The habit tracker was facing the wrong way. Yeah, I never did that again. It changed for this week. I don't know. Sometimes I get bored and want to try something new, which happens over here too, by the way. But I usually end up going back to my tried and true. All right. I see here, I use these for journaling. Yeah, I love these. I'm interesting. Bought snow. Oh, I was like, how did I buy snow? I was talking about the Sweet Freckle Designs weekly compact, and I bought the white one, which I still haven't used. So yeah, I love the color schemes. I mean, like sterling ink. Look at this. Look at this. It's beautiful. She just beautiful. And I love that her, like what really bulked up this planner a little bit was the vellums, because I did the vellum tip-ins for every single like division in the weeks part and in the notes pages as well, which I'll show you when I get there. But yeah, this was for Mother's Day. This was the week of Mother's Day and I wanted to do something different. I'm obsessed with tulips, obviously, like tulips. Tulips, my channel is the vintage tulip. I mean, like, yeah. So I'm obsessed with tulips and I wanted to do something special for Mother's Day. So this is what this turned out like. And then I went back to sterling ink. There's always a break sometimes in the sterling ink subscription. Another thing. I remember for this week, I just wasn't feeling it. You know, I didn't feel like planning. I wasn't feeling any of it. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do my habit tracker, but I'm just not gonna do anything else. I focused on walking my dog and just getting out every single day, walking him. I did like everyday chores and tasks, but I just took it easy this week. I just wasn't about it. Right, June begins. Oh, love this, the special flex. Oh, this, you see it changed here. So yeah, sometimes I get bored and I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna do something different. So I did notes here, my habit tracker here, and then a highlight in the bottom. So they do change sometimes, not often. Here I was prepping to leave to Puerto Rico, so there was a lot of things. Oh wait, no. I was returning from Puerto Rico and there was a lot of housework that needed to be caught up on before my mom arrived. Yep. And then here, again, beautiful. And they're so thin. I think that's why I love her subscription so much, is that everything is so thin. It just doesn't, you can't tell it's in the page. I feel like with other stickers, you can feel like it stiffens up the page. That doesn't happen with the Sterling Ink subscription. Okay. July. Here I tried like a Megan Rhiannon thing. It was fun for this week. I tried to recreate it in this one, right? Because I actually thought that this is how I was going to use this planner. And I did it for the first week. And I hated it. I hated the way it was. And I was like, wait, I cannot do this for an entire year. Like it was okay when I did it for 1 week in my other planner, but definitely not for an entire year. So yeah, went back to my tried and true once again. And I'm just gonna flip through that now. This is August. You see, this is one of those weeks where I was out. I highlight whenever I'm like on a little getaway. So I went on a little getaway with my sisters and I just erased the pencil marks and I used the space to journal. And here as well. And this is September. I love this planner. Okay, and then this was a week that I went away for my honeymoon and I went to Santorini. So I just took a little bit of each day, like a memory from each day, and I recorded it. If you hear walking around, just know it's my doggy. And I used this page for that. I also used, right, so I actually used the month of December. I repurposed the notes pages. And well, you'll see when I get there. I repurposed the notes pages and this is the start of a new month, October. Okay. I switched pen here. I had been using the Micron pen, but it was just really thick. I switched to the Uni Jetstream here. And I liked it. I didn't stick with it because I found my tried and true, the love of my life when it comes to this paper, which is the Pentel Energel Plena and the 0.3, and I'm stuck with that one. Now for sure, this is what I use. I found my pen. That's it. I'm done. I experimented with so much pens in the beginning of this year because I wasn't happy with how the Micron was writing. This is probably my favorite week in this planner. I tipped in, like my niece came over and set up my Christmas tree with me, and I tipped this in because I had literally no more pages to tip in anything else. I had run out of pages at this point, and I started my new Hobonichi Weeks. Right, so here it was just a bunch of notes on different planners because I'm pretty sure everyone had planner crisis last year when we were like, well, what the hell are we gonna use next year? We have so many options. But I ended up going with the Hobonichi and I'm so glad I stuck with it. I'm so glad. Right, this was for my bridal shower. These are actually my December pages that I just put washi tape around and I repurposed them. Yep. I use a Canon Ivy to print my pictures, and this was a continuation of my Santorini trip as well. And just more pictures of Santorini. And then these are my notes pages. This is just my journaling, and I'll flip through it if you guys want to see it. I hated this. I tried to do, yeah, this was a fail. This is the only page that looks like this. And then this was just like some thoughts that I wrote down before my wedding night. It was the books that I read last year. And then literally just journaling pages. Journaling. I think this back here was, I remember in March I wanted to switch out of this planner because I was like, I don't know, I don't get it, the paper, like, yeah, how much mistakes, blah, blah, blah. But when I thought about how much I had put into the journaling pages, I was like, you know what? No, I'm staying in this planner. And I'm so glad I stuck it out because this planner is probably my favorite planner that I have in my stash. And I am loving how my 2024 planner is turning out because I have a better hang on it. And that's my baby. That's the one causing all the drama in my video with all his sassiness. That's my husband. This was my trip to Puerto Rico. I speak more about this trip in one of my past videos. So if you want to hear more about this trip, go there. Okay, this is July. And yeah. This is a little cabin getaway that we do with our mom every year, me and my sisters and nieces. And in case you haven't noticed, family is the end all be all. And then in October, here we go. And this was my mommy's birthday. I wanted a really recent photo of us, so I used the photo from my wedding, but it was just my mom's birthday. I didn't get married in November. And then this was a little birthday getaway that my husband did for me the weekend of my birthday. And then these were pages. I thought that maybe I was going to change my notes pages for 2024. So I had used what would have been my December pages. I used them here just to like do something a little different to see how that would turn out. And in the end, I decided not to do it. So my pages are still very much like journaling pages in this planner, which I love. It's one of the main things I love about this planner. And then this is just like a couple of pen test pages. And I didn't do anything here. Yeah, we did swatches, pen tests. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I hope you got some ideas of this and enjoyed it. I'm very curious in the comments. Please tell me what planner you went with. There was so much drama in the planner community this year with all of the different week size options and all of the other options in general. So what planner did you end up going with?